Welcome back to the Fan Awakens. My name's Eli. I'm here with my co-host ParadeReigner, and we are excited to put out this video nice and early. Andor episode 6 is out. It is in the air. You know, we have watched it, and we're gonna react to it just as usual. We may not have as much in depth because we are fresh off the episode. But
Oh yeah,
Parade, nice to see you, man. How you doing?
great to be here, Eli. I'm so excited to talk about episode 6, finally finishing out this second arc, and still no dinner.
Still
We're
no
still
dinner.
hungry.
We're starving.
We're
My
waiting
stomach's
for
rumbling.
we're waiting for our invitation from Mon Mothma to come in our best dress, but we gotta wait. I guess we're waiting. Hopefully, it's not just like a random thing that they threw in. We're never gonna get it, but I have hope. You know,
Rebellions are
they're
built on
handing me
hope.
they can hand me the the data pad,
Yeah,
and
right. They
this
can put me.
rebellion can also be built on
Well,
hope.
even I'll be a server. I'll be a server if they want me to. You know what I mean?
100%.
One thing I want to start out with early fit checks, just because you're always rocking the fits.
Yeah,
I
what you
do.
got?
I got my Rogue One shirt, which I did buy. See, I have a small gripe. Small gripe, real quick.
Yeah.
So every time a Star Wars movie came out in my local theater, they always had a booth with merch and
Mhm.
everything, and I was always
Yeah.
excited because I'll always get the shirt, and
Okay.
usually I'll buy something else or two. And not that they had it for every movie until The Rise of Skywalker, and so the only thing is I was upset just because I feel like everything is incomplete. I would get the official posters, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
only one I don't have, and I had mapped my setup out for it, and so I have a gripe. So Regal, that's on you.
Yeah. That's great. I actually, matter of fact, I picked up, I think it was the Last Jedi like logo shirt, but
Yeah,
I've got rid of that. But real quick, I got the Twin Sons of Tatooine with the Mando's Naboo Starfighter.
it's
Rocking
sweet.
that.
It's
Shout out to Shirt Punch.
almost like a stained glass window. That's super
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, I actually like when my shirts are you have to be a fan to know what it is.
Yeah, it's not like I mean like the Star
Yeah,
Wars
not a
poster
poster.
printed on shirt.
Rogue One. Just right.
Exactly. I dig it. I dig it though. You got the fist check on lock.
Gotta rock the fandom. There's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have to put them back in rotation. I don't have that many, but I actually have quite a few Star Wars shirts in the past couple of years.
Heck yeah.
But,
Heck
yeah.
yeah. But without further ado, I think it's time we dive into the episode. Off the top, I do want to say today's episode, or episode 6, titled The Eye, directed by Susanna White. Just want to shout that out. I thought she did an exceptional job. Written by, Tony Gilroy and
Dan Gilroy?
Dan.
I
Yep.
thought his name.
Dan. Yes, sir. And this is the end cap of our second movie within the series. It is a collection of movies. Like, you can't tell me anything different. It's certainly written that way. And at
Definitely
this point,
have the time too.
they do have the time. Yeah, we got what,
Yeah.
49 minutes, you said?
Like 49 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and of course that's including credits, but even
Well,
with
it was
that,
51. It was 51, and so I'm minusing the
oh,
recap and the credits. So
you're taking
probably
that
like
out.
yeah, probably like 45 tops or
Which
minimum.
every episode was above
Oh.
40. That's a movie. That's a movie.
It is, yeah. It's a, I actually like this movie better than the last one.
I agree.
These ones than 1, 2, and 3. So,
Oh man,
yeah.
I think that it feels like a sequel. You know what I mean? It's like we had
Yeah.
Cassian. This is Cassian 2. I do see, bigger, badder sequel. We're into the thick of it. We're kind of getting out there. We had a lot of twists and turns, things that we expected, things that we didn't. Some things we did expect, but it played out in ways that we didn't. So, I'll ask
Real
you
quick,
this. Go ahead.
As we're getting off of that, rankings for what's your ranking for episode 6 Andor the Eye? Where would you rank it? What number would you give this? I think for me, because we have no dinner, I think for me, I'm like, it's funny as we talk about it, and at like the end of the episode, I think my rankings go up the more we like expound.
Same.
But I think this episode did deliver what was promised. The tension was high, and we got new characters to temporarily enjoy.
Yeah.
I would be like 8.5, 9, and probably by the end of this conversation, 9.
Give me my 9.5. Give me my 9.5. I'm going really. I'm going real
5.
high on this episode. This thing
Woo!
was, I mean, it's insane because yes, we do get that climactic action from this, but
Yeah, we do.
also we didn't compromise the great dialogue. We still had
No,
great conversation. We had great tense moments. It was a heist movie. I'll admit, right after this movie, I was so high on like this heist stuff. I stayed up and forgoed some sleep to watch Ocean's 11 just because I was like, I want more.
yeah, yeah,
So I thought, we've had some heist stuff in Star Wars, albeit brief. I was admittedly reminded of like the uh, heist in Solo when they were taking the unrefined
Coaxium.
coaxium, although it was brief, and then I thought this was, a whole episode for it. But
I
I
don't
was
even
like,
remember.
so
I don't even remember Solo
it was
that
just
well.
like a little train heist, It's great.
Oh, the
I will
train.
say, great score. The best part of Solo for me is the score. It's fantastic.
Okay,
Not
got it.
talked about enough.
Who's
But
the composer?
it was oh man, please.
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the
I
spot.
think, and I know who it is. Was it Bear McCreary? Let me check.
Is he the one that does the show?
No, I don't believe so. It was John Powell. John Powell.
John Powell.
Shout
Okay.
out John Powell.
I do intend to rewatch Solo. I've only watched it once, fell asleep a little bit, but I do intend to rewatch it. Need to give it one more fair shake, but it's not one movie that I enjoy. But continue.
For sure. But with this episode, it's I thought, yeah, like you said, it delivered on all fronts. It was kind of like a Rogue point 0.5 to me. It
Definitely
was
have that feeling.
it still had that feeling of you know, I mean, we knew pegs were gonna get knocked off the board here. We're gonna lose some pawns.
Yeah.
But they nothing felt rushed. We got to see the entire plan enacted.
Right.
We got to see the things that often in like a Star Wars movie you would have just kind of brushed past. It's like we
Right.
got to see them marching in order, sort of assimilating
Yes.
with the other troopers, having those moments of tension. It's like, okay, this is going pretty well. The plan is working
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I was definitely right there with you. We're like, okay, it's going smooth, but where are the hiccups? And obviously, they were like the time, for the next thing
Yep.
to happen, and you can feel that tension building. Oh man, the tension was excellent
Fantastic.
in this episode. I was like holding my breath for a lot of it and like trying to find out, okay, well, where's it gonna go wrong? Like, are we like, where's the hiccups? Because that's expected, right?
Yep.
Even just some of the scenes, and just briefly, because we'll probably recap on it, but like them hiding in the little stone bunker and
Oh
the
yeah.
troopers being where they weren't, and I'm like, oh man. And then even Vel running across the top
like
past the
catwalk
guys,
thing.
like, yeah, and like he just like in his peripheral, and I was
She was
like, oh
Holland.
my god. Yeah, yeah. And then even just like calling for go, I was like, what? I didn't understand the hesitation. So I want to, talk more deeper about
Yeah.
that stuff as
Yeah.
we move along the episode. But I enjoyed it. I love that they introduced Corporal.
Oh
The
man.
Yeah, see this is
See,
again, our
I know who
preparation
you're
is
talking about though. Oh,
it starts with an R. The new commander guy they introduced. Let's
from
see.
Coruscant, right?
The one that was there
With his family. Yeah. And that's the thing. They introduce these side characters that likely are only there for an episode or two, but they give them so much personality. They give them backstory. They give them stakes.
Yeah, because I'm like, he has a family. I'm like, he's a guy who's been here for a minute.
Yeah.
Because he's complaining about his wife not enjoying their time there. So I was like, yeah, we'll have to look.
We'll go back to that, but
we'll go back.
Yeah, that character. If you've seen the episode, you know what we're talking about.
Right.
Man in charge. He had a family who, they weren't happy to be there. They didn't want to go. Son was fed up with it. He was tired. So I don't want to do all this imperial nonsense. Let me just play my game.
He's like, wear your imperial blouse. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
Oh, and then I mean, like that. He's like, oh, these were packed poorly. This thing was his belt, and she's like, maybe you expanded. I'm like, oh,
yeah, maybe you put on a couple lbs there, my guy. Oh, you know what's funny is I think he's on IMDb, but his name's not even listed. His
Yeah,
character name's not even listed there. Um, but yeah, well, I'll scrub Disney Plus while we talk.
absolutely, absolutely. But as we're moving through, we did have a question last week. What's Vel and Cinta's move? What are they doing here? And obviously they had an integral role. They were kind of going Navy SEALs on him by
Very
land.
Bourne, definitely felt Bourne Identity for sure.
It did, and I thought that uh, as I watched this from the very beginning, though, what was constantly on my mind is like, how were they gonna do this without Cassian there?
Yeah, even what threw me off is the plan was to have Imperial guys load the payroll too.
Yep.
So I was like, that's kind of a definite, like, make sure you have enough hands to get it all in on time. Like,
Yeah.
that seemed a little sus
I guess on one
about the
end,
plan.
um, Lieutenant Gorn maybe knew that there was going to be those hands there, but
Sure,
at the
sure.
same time,
That's what I was thinking
it's a
too.
bold decision. You're counting on a lot of things going right, which obviously you have to. This plan is, it's almost a. I mean, you can call it a suicide run, but it almost seems just flat out impractical when you see like everything they were counting on.
Right, right. But then the payoff, though, what was it? 80
80
million
million,
credits?
80 million. And
I was
so,
like, okay, then it's worth it.
yeah, I want to jump forward real quick because,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is
Talk to me.
jumping way forward. So I'm just going to throw it out there so I don't forget. I was
Uh-huh.
talking with my friend Sylvia, who I did another Cantina episode with, if you guys want to check that out. And she pointed something out to me like, in the end of the episode, Skeen, seems like he's in it for the money. Was he always in the money? He didn't have a brother. This is like such a. Was he just ready to go? Because what a risk!
Yeah, that was an interesting wrinkle to the whole thing.
It surprised me.
It definitely surprised
I did
me,
not see
and
that coming.
I really enjoyed that scene. That was probably my favorite scene of the episode because
Yeah.
you really sit with both of them there, or at least Skeen, because he's just like, and just kind of like reflecting on everything, and then him just be like, let's just split it 40-40,
Yep.
where or 50-50 and 40 million
40
each,
million
and then
each.
he had it all like thought out, and he's like, I
Yeah.
don't have a brother. So I'm like, that like surprised me because I'm wondering, because I'm guessing like Luthen put this team together, right?
It seems so. Well, I don't know. Maybe Vel by proxy,
Yeah, maybe
because they didn't want him mentioned. Luthen's like, we don't mention Luthen, we don't mention him at all. So I
that's
don't I
true.
don't
So
know
maybe
if
they weren't. Maybe she got this crew together then, huh?
she may have. Uh,
Mm,
but still, like, there's a lot of lying and deception going on, even within the rebellion here, because he thought he was gung ho rebellion, which I love adding
that's
those
true.
layers to it. You think
Yeah,
this guy is portrayed as like hardcore rebellion. He has his
yeah,
reasons, his brother, this meaningful backstory that makes you like, oh, maybe like I understand why he's an asshole,
yeah, yeah.
and then it's like, nope.
Yeah, he drops that ball. And what was funny was, as much as like, because even last episode, we're like, oh man, I like Skeen. Like, I like this guy. He's gonna do the right thing. He'll save Andor and everything. And then now we actually, as the audience, get to feel the betrayal.
We do, yeah.
That was really cool. I'm like, oh man, like this guy, put me through the emotional spectrum of I thought he was a good dude, but I mean, everyone's in it for himself. I think he said something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
And but what the other thing was, because they said it was a payroll, so I thought initially it was just documents, but it's actually credits,
Me
I guess.
too. I thought that it was going to be more of like a, data or like some
Yeah,
sort of ledger of some kind. But yeah, it was like cold hard cash right there.
cold hard cash in a vault, which was which is really weird,
It's
but
like,
they'll have to explain that somewhere, how
uh,
that works, because it wasn't like a bank; it's like in a dam. So I
yeah,
just thought that was interesting. Um, the other, yeah, just the scheme thing really, really threw me. And even him shooting and killing him was awesome. But then I was like, dude, the repercussions of not being able to back your
I
story.
know.
How are you gonna convince Vel? But he said like, but he wasn't taking more than his cut
Exactly.
though.
Yeah, that,
So that to
that's a
me, I
little
was like, oh,
mad.
okay, it's not about the money. like getting more money for everyone's loss. He's like, I just want my share so I can go.
I think that that is sort of the redeeming quality there, as far as like, yeah, I Vel, she's probably gonna have to do some thinking about this. We'll see where we pick up in episode 7. But you're right, you know,
Mhm.
he could have easily just took it all. But he's like, here, give this back to your friend. I just want my cut and I want to go. Like, I just want what I was promised and I'm
Yeah.
out of here. I don't want anything to do with this. Um, and on that end, you know, whew, we got 2 mini movies left. And there's so much to cover, but I do
Yeah.
feel satisfied with like how this mini movie ended, because it is very open ended. We don't know if we're gonna pick up right after, or if this is gonna be some months in between, or what.
Oh, right.
Um,
I think I'm trying to, yeah. Um, I know there was talks about this, the next season being, what is it, 5 years after the first?
yeah, I believe I
But
heard
I
that.
feel like there's other time jumps within the first season, so
Yep.
I hope not, because then we definitely won't get the dinner.
I swear we just can't get the scheduling down. We just keeps
Yeah,
getting
they're like,
pushed.
No one's available. No one's available to meet."
Oh, we need
So
that dang dinner. Also, I know we're kind of jumping back and forth, but it's
yeah,
fine. Um, Now I have a couple questions too. With
yeah.
Mon Mothma, oh, what a like! I just every time they show that woman, I feel so empty inside, because like she's giving this speech at the Senate and no
You're just
one's there, no one's listening. Most of the
yeah,
seats
yeah.
are empty, and I'm like, I feel you. So my question to you is, do you think that this is a situation um where that's just the state of the Senate when like Mon Mothma's speaking, because they just don't care to a degree? Do you think that it's just become mostly vacant, or do you think that's all because this news came out and everybody's like, maybe they're tied to that money, that's money out of their pockets, and they're
Mm,
like, we got to figure this out, because everybody was looking at the data pads, but it seemed
yeah.
even so maybe that news just broke and maybe it had been before the speech, but maybe that's like, oh my gosh, that's our money. I don't know.
Um, yeah, I think okay, so the Senate was empty before the news broke.
Yep.
So I think no one was there on purpose. I don't think it was due to the rebellion thing
Yeah.
happening. Um, so I would surmise that I would also have a feeling like this is like the open mic for Senate bills and stuff, and so there's not very many people attending because there's not like big news happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, my guess is there was really no one gonna be there for the open mic of for Mon Mothma, and then also the news breaking. People were like, but see, like, yeah, I don't know. We don't know what else was said in the rebel thing, and like what that means for Coruscant or the Senate at large. I guess an attack on the garrison and the Empire is an attack on the Senate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that could be something that they're worried about, and I guess it's the start of it, right?
Yeah,
And
certainly.
even jumping to what is it, Paragast? He
Yes.
brought them all together as like, hey, something's going on.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember his
He's
exact
like, don't get
phrasing, but
comfortable. This isn't a meeting.
yeah. So so now everything's kind of like on the
I
table.
think, once you take someone's money, it changes some
Very
things.
true. Yeah, start playing with people's money and then things will start happening.
Yep.
Um so yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I want to know more about that side. That's why we want the dinner right now. Um, I want to know what the Imperial, and I guess this is going to be a great dinner topic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, so everyone's going to be kind of on edge talking about it and stuff. Um, but it was. I thought we would see some like the Emperor there, somebody like someone big in the
Yeah.
middle, but I don't think we're getting that.
No,
Well,
it
we
doesn't
did get
seem
that,
like
so I
it.
don't think we're gonna get it. Because
Now,
that was the trailer shot, right, of the back of Mon Mothma's
it was.
God in the Senate.
It
So I don't
was.
know if we'll get back to it, but yeah, that it was an interesting little wrinkle to. I wasn't expecting to see her at all. So
No.
for social media and the Empire newsletter going out was a surprise to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. On that end, though, as we backtrack through the episode, when we go back to the heist, we really got to see step by step of the plan. We got to see it play out when, you know, Lieutenant Gorn, he was like making sure he cleared this area. I was like, what are you doing here? Go down there, make sure you take your
Yeah, yeah,
guys,
yeah.
go down the hill, uh, don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. And he's sort of standing guard at the door. There's
Yeah.
fires, blasters going off, and that soldier, he's like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, go down there and just mind your damn business.
I was worried about that actually, just to speak on it, the
Yeah,
blaster fire being loud, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't loud enough to cause much concern. Um, I was surprised. I mean, I don't know if I should be, but the Aldani people looked to me too normal, like a lot of extras, in my opinion.
yeah.
Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I was really expecting. But not that.
I guess for me, I think that I sort of I wasn't surprised by it simply because I think when I saw and I could be wrong, but I think they were sort of posing as the Aldani people when they were like, marching around before they were in costume, like casting
Yeah,
and crew.
right,
So
right.
like I guess that was kind of like as we had
The
seen
hint.
them, the hints, but I do agree.
Right.
I think that they had talked pretty bad about them, like the Empire and stuff, leading
Yeah.
up to it. But I think that just kind of shows their like own prejudice and high horse that they're like, these people are like just decrepit, disgusting people. It's like they're not all that different,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from us.
Even talking about the smell of
Yeah,
the goat fur and handing it off, I actually really enjoyed the chief saying like the ghosts, are long remembered or will remember all
yeah.
this stuff, and Gordon be like, "Oh,
Oh
this is a tribute,"
yeah.
like just cleaning it up a little bit.
And what was that line? I wish I remembered. He's like,
I
I
wish
hope the ancestors see good in you or something when they were
Yes,
I loved all that stuff.
yes,
And that's something that again could have easily been skipped over. They could have just said, "Oh, now the Aldani people are there and they're doing their thing." But we did spend a good amount of time there, and
yeah, we did.
um, I
I
actually
found
I actually liked it.
I did, yeah, and even just their tribal music and stuff was help building the tension,
It
and
was.
setting it up for the quiet moment of like where they're enjoying the eye, and then that's the beginning of the heist. Real quick, I found the name of the our new Imperial. His name is Commandant J Hold.
Commandant. Oh,
B
J-hole.
J Hold, yeah. So they showed his name in the subtitles, but not the last name. B has his new,
Gotcha.
but J Hold they showed while he was talking to like his family and stuff.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and another great Imperial they bring in with us, and it's like I will never get enough of these like Imperial officers who would just I love them. I love them all. I think that it's endlessly amusing to see how they are just. I mean, they're full of themselves and all, and
Yeah.
there's so much almost folly that I say that can happen because of it.
Sure.
And when we get into the heist part of it, um, I will say the plan. Kudos to a T. Very, very
Yeah.
well done.
It was.
I was shocked when they plan to leave Cinta behind. That
Yeah.
apparently by design it seemed. Um,
Yeah. I thought she went out as an Imperial, but I was waiting to see her disrobe it all and then have an Aldani thing and just kind of move
yeah.
out with the rest of the tribes people when they leave. Real quick, I pulled up the quote. Tell him our ghosts have strong hands and long memories.
Ooh, yeah.
So good.
That's great stuff. That's
Yeah,
great,
good.
great stuff. And yeah, you're right. I know you spoke on it before, but like just the way they edit this thing and cut the scenes together and just maintain that tension and never really let you have much of a break. Because even when things are going
Yeah.
well, they make sure that like there's a lot of troopers around. There's as they're trying to figure out what's going on with the comms.
Oh yeah.
That all that stuff was great. He's like flicking on, and it felt so real. He's like asking his coworkers, like, are you guys having issues with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
comms?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's like,
Because
no,
I do that at work too. I'm like, is you guys did that go down? Did Outlook go down? Or is that just me? And
yeah,
I like he's like, it's probably the eye.
yep,
It's probably the eye. Don't even worry about it. I love that.
yeah,
Um, Going back to like J Hold too, he's introduced in this episode, and I love that we get the backstory of him as he's trying to also like get out of this position. Like he's trying to move up. right? And away
Yes.
from this planet because they've been. I mean, Gorn was there for 7 years,
Yep.
so he has to put as much work or much time, and his family's here, and they're like, this place sucks. Because even thinking like if they came from Coruscant, it's a bustling city. You're out here with nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I can see him trying to make the moves and trying to make sure everything's perfect so we can get out of here. This engineer can let us move, move us out of here. Um, that actress looked familiar too. I feel like I've seen her in something.
Wait, which
Um,
one? The mother
wife,
or
the
oh, the
wife,
wife?
like
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
I don't know. Um, I bet she was in something. Who
yeah,
knows? Game of
everyone is.
Thrones, or seems like they pull a lot of people from Game of Thrones, but
But speaking of Game of Thrones, I love that with the Imperials, they're vying for moving up. Just like in Game of Thrones, it's the Game of Thrones. They're
yep.
always trying to get more power, more land.
Hmm.
I like that the Imperial mindset is very corporate ladder, and we're seeing people trying to make those moves, even though it's not like the cleanest way or the good
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
Um,
that's a great point, and I will say it was nice seeing this Imperial officer who had a family because I could see a lot. One, we don't see that really, but
no, we
two,
don't.
with certain officers, I could see them being like, I would put the Empire above my family. Go ahead and do what you will, but I won't help you.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, just like I mean, Galen had a family, and
yep,
that kind of what's cool is it grounds them right
it
into
does.
more realistic and relatable. Um, but then one of the other ones, I mean, minor spoilers for Battlefronts 2.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah,
Um, Iden, it's her dad is
yep,
an admiral or at least one of a higher imperial. So I love that there's families on both sides, and even Pradagast says, "Tell your families you ain't coming home."
yeah,
you know
yeah.
we're gonna be working pretty late. um and yeah, let's start from the top. So from the top of the episode, they're gearing up, and I
Yep,
love that Nemec has another conversation where he's at with Andor's reveal,
yeah.
because we only can assume things, and he's like, I can't sleep. He's like, it was
Oh, I
the night
love
before, and
that.
yeah, he's like, I'm nervous that I'm not myself, and I'm like, relatable. I love it. Like, they're real people. um and Endor like, hey man, that's just what we got to do, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah,
and then
he's like, you
later
sleep
he
like
probably,
a rock. I watch you.
dude, I was foreshadowing for sure. He
Yeah,
said, when it's all over, you'll be able to sleep, and I'm
yeah.
like,
I know. As soon as that line, me and my brother looked at each other and we're like, that's
he's
it.
gone. I
Yeah,
said, oh, that sealed his fate right there.
yeah.
um, and then the reveal. What do you think of the reveal of Tamarin as a stormtrooper?
Unexpected, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed that. But
yeah,
I'm down with it. I thought it was a nice surprise. Add some more
hmm,
skin in the game here, and
yeah,
sort of show. And I think that even adds further to the scene in the previous episode where Andor sort of correcting him on where people should be standing and things like that.
yeah,
But I just thought it was a pleasant surprise that just added a little bit of depth to the character when, you know, pretty easy to do, but he's not super talkative. We don't get a lot with him,
right.
but just add some more skin in the game.
Yeah, no, I liked a little bit. I think I was kind of wanting that from previous, but I mean, it felt like natural and paced out a little bit. If unless you're not trying to give everyone's backstory away and
Yeah, like
right away. So
just sit around the campfire in episode 4 and just this guy, the stormtrooper. This guy is
yeah, if that would feel like more like zombie movie kind
yeah,
of giving backstories. I mean, there was like, to me, it felt a little too close to how Vel. Well, did she? No, she didn't reveal Skeen that way, but it felt too similar, I guess, in a reveal about the group. So I wish I kind of got it in a different way. But I
yeah,
like with knowing his backstory is with the stormtroopers. It showed he knew a little bit more about the Imperial way of how to do it. Like, he seemed like the right guy to do that,
yeah.
but then also just being ill prepared, which the stormtroopers are.
They are.
Um, but I'm curious what brought him out. So like that even makes it more interesting and kind of a little bit more disheartening that we don't get more with his character, especially him actually having a reason to be a part of the rebellion.
Yeah,
Um, Unlike Skeen,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all a
Unlike
lie.
Skeen.
Skeen, he lied to me.
What I did take to jump forward real quick
Yeah, yeah, please.
from Cassian and Skeen's moment, which was definitely one of the many highlights of the episode, when they had that final talk. How quick is Cassian on the draw, man? Oh
I
my!
loved
I
it
was like,
too.
wait, this guy might be able to go against Cad Bane. This guy might be able to go against Cad Bane. This guy's gonna. I was like, blink and you'll miss it. He was right on point.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that scene, I love how we sit there and he gives him a chance to like
Yeah.
give himself up, and I'm like, man, Cassian, you gotta shoot this guy. Like
And
that's I'm like, you either gotta shoot him or he's gonna shoot you, right?
yep.
If
And
if you say no, you know, if you're like, no, it's a bad idea, you know,
I
but he
just
needed him to fly, so maybe he wouldn't have shot him. But I don't know. I first saw him just pulling the gun out and shooting him there.
yeah. I mean, I think that one thing I think also Cassian is quickly climbing my ranks of favorite Star Wars characters. I think that Diego Luna is just killing this role. Just the way that he reacts to things and like I just I honestly can't say enough about he's like, son, it's not all rebellion for you, it's not and it just feels so genuine and just like there's this I don't know. It just feels like this he has such a grip on this character, and
Yeah.
I am just gonna be gutted by the end of it when I watch Rogue One again. I'm gonna be gutted.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like by the end of this, when you watch Rogue One, I think that there's because like you already feel it with Rogue One. They do a good job of it, but having at least 24 episodes with this guy and knowing where it ends, it just
Yeah.
hurts.
I'm appreciating his character more. I'm not completely in love with him due to the fact that like he's still a little squirrely, you know.
He is.
He's still kind of surviving
He
on,
is.
more about survival than the grand scheme. But that's the arc, right? So
It is.
I'm hoping by the end of it I will have a different take, but I love that we're still diving into it more so than a lot of the other Star Wars characters. So I can understand why people are gravitating towards him being one of the favorites. He's just not on my he's not one of my
Yeah.
top yet.
Yeah, he's not there quite yet. I just see where it's working for me and I know I
Right.
talked about it so much that as long as this arc it has it keeps going its trajectory and he
Yes.
keeps evolving as a character, man, I am I'm gonna be wearing some Cassian shirts places. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
but
We'll see you in your Andor shirt
I'm gonna have
soon.
we have the ink. No, I don't have
that
no.
rebel side in the beginning card.
I'm just gonna have the episode list tattooed in on
Yeah, yeah. Um other man, Gorn, that actor, I'm so sad we lost him.
yeah.
Lieutenant Gorn. He was such a solid piece to this crew and just like his authority, man. But I knew even when we predicted, I was like, he's too good to keep alive
He
still.
is.
And if he did stay alive, he would be he'd be tortured by a probe,
Yep.
probe droid and spilling his guts about the rebellion. But oh man, can we talk about the way they shot the scene or J-Hold sees him in the rafters,
Yes.
revealing that
I
Gorn's in on
literally
this whole
wanted to go
thing.
there too. Oh my gosh.
And
I
he's like slowly panning, and he's just like,
he's
UPOS,
I know.
like it's just, like you're in on this.
It's so good because
Oh man,
he doesn't hesitate. It's like he's had 7 years to deal with this. He just walks in and he's like, I can't believe it's like, get back to work. Like I don't got
yeah,
time for this. Like just
yeah. He goes, you put me through hell, man. Like this is the least
oh yeah, he's like
of your
7 years
torture here.
working for you or whatever it was, 3 years, whatever it was.
It was
I've
7 years, yeah.
yeah, I deserve worse than yeah. He's like I've done enough. Whatever he said. Yeah, so well shot. I love that they show his reaction. And they show
Yeah.
how it's just you see the deception, the betrayal in that man's face.
Yeah.
You just couldn't imagine, and it all goes
Yeah.
back to Cassian in that
Mm.
early in what episode 3 it all goes back to him saying, they're so proud. They could never imagine
Oh,
people
right,
like
right.
us getting
Yeah,
in their house and stepping on their, couch and things like that. I'm like, man,
yeah, yeah. No, it was great. I mean, okay, so I'm trying to get all the points of that of this mission that I really enjoyed. I love that like they did the underwater stealth
yeah,
thing, them climbing up and just like stopping and freezing when they're hearing the voices. I loved all that, how that was shot. It was very spy thriller, you know, we're holding our breath to make sure nothing goes wrong. But I was really curious about the comm jammer that they used. It was like
it's a
it felt really
big,
big.
it's a really
So
big unit there.
So like, would someone be able to see and be like, "What is that?" You know, even if they looked, but who knows where it could
Yeah,
have
I
been.
was I was thinking the same thing because it was such a big thing that I was like, oh man, is he just gonna check? Like, is
Yeah,
he just gonna be
and
like,
just be like, "Oh, that's
oh,
weird," and just put
unplug?
it up.
That's what I expected. But yeah, I
Well,
thought that it looked great. And yeah, super tense. And the way that you're right, the way they were, waiting on the ladder, sort of looking at each other, you can tell there's hesitation to go because you
yeah.
can't see exactly, what's.
Yeah, 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 what's going on up there. Or even them doing their march and you're like, "Okay, like, as a viewer, I don't know what they're supposed to look like," and then showing the other officers and they're all kinda, like, side-eyeing and, like, looking at them, and even, when J-Holt goes, "You guys are from Aldenzi?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, act like
And I thought he
we
was gonna
belong
be
here.
like, "Do you guys know?" You know what I mean? Like, start
I
questioning him or
thought it was
whatever,
gonna be like that too.
but he was just like, "Okay, well, let's just trade these sheep things." And
Like
I love
what?
that the Aldani chieftain just throws it in the fire. Probably not part of the practice, but, like,
Probably
"You guys
not.
suck."
Just yeah.
I was surprised even the count. They're like, "Yeah, it was used to be 15,000, now it's down to 60." I'm
Yeah, and
like,
I thought that that was another great scene that could easily be overlooked. How they're saying,
mhm,
we left, the food and outposts and things to sort of like sift, people away from, have a smaller crowd, and I was like,
yeah.
that is,
Well, even yeah, that conversation between him and the engineer, he's like, "You give them a bunch of choices
yeah,
that don't really serve them,
yeah.
but, it serves our purpose." And I was like, "Wow, that's like they're playing another level
They
of
are playing another level. I couldn't
psychological."
believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys. But I was into it though. I'm like, man, someone deserves a raise. Like it's bad, but someone deserves a raise there. Whoever thought of that?
Yeah, I mean, well, it kinda puts you in the mindset of how the Empire takes over planets,
Yeah.
because it's not complete genocide,
It's
right?
not. No, it's not
So
Thanos pulling up and
right, and going, "Half of you live, and then we'll keep the other half, and then we'll go from there." It's more calculated than that. So, I find it very intriguing seeing that side because otherwise, when we watch Star Wars, it's very Nazi, and so we think, you
yes.
know, just mass murder all the time, right?
Hmm.
But having it in this light and being on Aldani shows there's actually a little bit more thought put into it. And I don't know in the grand scheme of things if it's just power for the sake of power,
Yeah.
but I don't know much about the Emperor and his schemes of his takeover to why take over other planets. I mean, just besides control, but if there's actual like resources that they can use or need. Because it's even confusing to have the Adenzi center there, which was like more aircraft.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess it felt like a little bit of plot armor that we could block the comms here, but not the communication to to the to Aldenzi
You're gonna yeah, like
command
the
center.
Density line's still open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
Um.
I loved seeing the TIE pilots, that menacing
Oh, I
black.
love that too.
So cool.
And it's really cool that they have used um stormtroopers and like ties sort of sparingly. It's not like they're just constantly a threat all the time. Like yeah, they're looming, but when you actually see them coming into action, it's like oh man, now we got the cavalry's coming in. I when they started loading up and launching ties, I'm like, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I know that little freighter that they were in was not gonna be able to, like, hang in a dogfight, right? So,
no,
they coulda
but
easily gotten shot out
a
of the
good
sky.
thing though. What a brilliant plan it ended up being. With ties notoriously don't have much as far as defense mechanisms. Don't really have good shielding at all. So man, those asteroids really kind of shredded them apart. Thankfully.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
But with I do want to go back to
Good place.
Vel. So surprisingly, she seemed to totally lose her edge for a bit, I don't know if that was
Yeah.
just timing or what, but it seemed like she was like needed to and Cinta needed to like reel her back in because she was like, "Are we going? Like, are they're
Yeah,
asking or waiting?"
I was wondering if it was just a nerves thing because I was like,
That's what it
what's
seemed
the
like.
thing that has to happen for you to call go?" But it was just her to be like, let's actually do it." Because I guess I don't know how you get out of that situation if you just decided to,
No.
turn tail and leave, right?
Yeah.
Like jump back in the water and then, your four
Go
guys are
back.
just gonna walk away. I didn't understand like, calling it there.
Yeah.
Um, but otherwise, like you said, it ran smoothly. Like I felt like most of those pieces for our Imperial crew, Skeen and Nemec and Cassian and Tamarin, that went smoothly. Even just
I
grabbing hostages.
I
So
think the only thing to hinder, like, saying go or not there would be to be sure that the jammer is actually installed. Because if not,
oh
then
right,
it's like we're done.
everybody,
Uh,
yeah, everybody
um, but
full gun.
with Vel, I was surprised because I get it though. You have months and months and months to plan, but then when it comes time to play ball, like you have all this riding on this moment. I could definitely see that overwhelming, and it did feel like a human
Yeah,
moment. Even though it was surprising to see it from Vel, just because she seemed to be. I didn't expect her to be the one to sort of almost have a moment falling apart and losing her edge, but it did feel human to me, and
yeah,
it did work. Now with the big scene of, we kind of touched on before, they're loading these coins, they're using these Imperials to load the. We both kind of talked before the show, thought it was going to be something more digital, a ledger of some kind,
yeah,
some sort of
yeah,
data, and they're like, nope, open the vault, we got the money.
yeah. It's like credits all rolled up into,
I'm like,
and then I
jeez.
like laughed too. The last one where it like tips
Tipped,
over.
yeah.
And he's like, "No, just leave it, you fools! Just get out of here."
Oh, we got it. Yeah.
Um,
It was shocking though, seeing how much was there. I'm like, wait a minute. How
right.
are we gonna move all of this into the ship?
Yeah, and I guess Gorn knowing which guys were going to be there,
Yeah.
was probably also part of his plan, like assignment of, who's the guys that are going to put up less resistance. They also didn't have weapons, which was also cool. Like they're down there, but they didn't have guns holstered.
It's like, these are the warehouse
Um,
guys.
these are warehouse. These are supposed to be painting.
Yep.
I love that they introduced, I think, a new game. They were gambling. It wasn't Sabacc, so I
Ah.
think they introduced another game. So I can't wait
I'm
to
sure
see
we'll see.
what that was, but they were like placing them and saying something like Hexel or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see that. And then I don't know if you noticed, I felt like the carts actually had wheels, and I don't remember seeing too many wheels in Star Wars.
Good
So
point. I didn't think of that.
so keep an eye out for wheels. I think they try to hide it, but I don't think they were like hovering um,
Hmm.
very
Uh,
much.
interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
Yeah. And then that I kind of got a little confused because there was a little bit of cutting of the person grabbing Cassian when he was in the pilot seat.
Yeah.
I thought it was Skeen for a second.
Oh, so I
When
remember when I was watching, did you see like where he was hiding out before he grabbed Cassian?
he was
Yeah.
pretty. Oh, the other
Yeah.
the Imperial guy.
Yeah.
He was probably close with
So
the payroll stuff, right?
basically it's super quick and it's hard to miss. It's easy to miss because like Cassian is the focus, but when he's
Mhm.
going up the ramp, it shows the Imperial guy like nestled between the stairs and the
With the
wall.
stairs
Yeah,
wall.
and so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he just looked up and he was like, oh, this is my
There's an
time.
opportunity.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing. He was just taking a break or something. But like
I think when it all started going down, he probably like
hid. Yeah.
it out. I also like the fact that Nemec can shoot, because most of the time you have your guys who just don't know how to shoot.
Yeah.
What I also enjoyed was these Imperial guys shoot better because they're not wearing terrible Stormtrooper helmets.
Yes,
So
they don't have those terrible helmets. They don't have necessarily those terrible guns. It's pretty known, these excuses for the stormtroopers, which I love all
yeah,
of them. But
yeah,
they buy things on the cheap. They
right. Mass
mass
produced.
produce, mass numbers, scare people by, excessive, like it seems like an overwhelming odds having these stormtroopers. But yeah, they could see.
They could see, and they were killing people.
And like Gorn got picked off like oof.
Yeah,
It's
Gorn got picked off pretty quick, and then Tamarin shortly after.
yeah.
And I like that Vel was like, no, like
Yeah.
she cared about this crew for sure. And then oh man, the soul crushing, no pun intended, scene where dude, okay, so that they get out, and I'm like, wow, Skeen, Nemec, Vel. I
I
was like,
know.
I did not think this was our crew surviving this. And then he flies back.
Dude.
And then it just
I was
crushes the poor
like, I
kid.
gasped. I was like, he's like, hold on, and just it took the air out of me. I was like, oh my god, no. Like I was like, Nemec made it. What in the what a twist! What a
Yeah, I
twist!
was like, oh man, he's gonna get crushed. And like the sound,
And
and then
the
he's like, I can't. I was like, okay, he's alive,
yeah,
right? Saying, but he's like, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. And I'm like, oh man. And
They broke our heart though, because they were like, I can't feel my legs, but then it's like, okay, wait, okay, maybe he's gonna be paralyzed, but I don't see any blood, you know. So are
Right,
we
right, right.
okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just to kill him, and
just for okay, so Dr. Quadpaw in the
Quad paw.
subtitles,
Yep.
Dr. Quadpaw, him just putting over the sheet and like just tapping his shoulder. I'm just like, oh,
I know, and I was like,
oh
oh, they got
no.
him to the doctors.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, okay,
he's gonna Darth Maul have new legs. Like he's gonna survive.
good night.
And the doctor's like, I did all I could.
That doctor
And I
is a
thought
little creepy with his
I thought,
forearms.
yeah, yeah, it was a little creepy. I thought they were gonna give a little bit more time of like Cassian deciding to kill him or not kill him, and I know Cassian's not gonna kill him, right?
Yeah,
So it was good that we just moved on from it, but I thought there was gonna be a choice here of like, but then like he's just paralyzed, like he's not. I guess it was like a mercy killing, right?
yeah.
If they had to kill him, but I was like, you don't have to kill him, like right now.
It's like, no, let's just get this over with. No,
Because they were like, let's just kill him, and I'm like, huh?
I know. I was like,
And that was Vel who wanted to kill him, right?
yeah, but it
And
was
Skeen,
Skeen was like, let's take him to the which good plan. To he's like, let's take him to the doctor, detour, and so I can take this money.
yeah,
But
man, what a scumbag.
I know he deserved a longer death, but like part of that though with Vel and everything, I love that scene also where he's like, and again, not letting the tension go. Cassian's like, I'm flying blind. I'm flying
Oh, right,
blind.
right.
I don't know where I'm going. I'm flying and I lost it.
Yeah.
What? And they're just like, just give us a minute. And just, I'm like, dude.
You don't have a minute. We're all gonna die because the ties are right here. You don't have a minute. And that's me. Like, I don't know anything about flying, let alone flying in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Flying blind in Star Wars. I'm like, what do you need? What? I didn't even know what he was asking
Me
for.
either.
I knew it had something to do with the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was insane.
I was like, also that thing that he uses, this little sundial thing, apparently it's just a camera. It's just a camera.
Yeah,
My brother, I didn't even realize that my brother's friend is big into cameras and he has one of them. And he was just complaining about like not being able to get it apart because all the Star Wars fans are taking them off.
Yeah. Now everyone's buying them and spray painting them black.
Yep.
Yeah, that a lot of tension there, and I love how he was giving him instruction and Cassian wasn't sure. He's like, is he even coherent? What'd you guys give him? Because they drugged him up, right?
They did, yeah. They gave him that.
Like, what is he? Yeah, the old
stim shot,
fiction.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And so he's like, I don't even know if I could drug, but it made sense because it looked like they had to go up and down to get momentum.
That's what I kind of got out of it. Because they did. You're right. They went up, then they went down, and like leveled out to get the trajectory.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, it worked for me. It built that tension.
Yeah.
He's like, up? You want me to go up?
But I'm like, oh, was that like a little bit of force sensitivity from our Nemec there? You know, to because like even just the way the asteroids hit the ties seemed a little too coincidental, in my opinion. Like,
I'm one with the force, and the force is with me. He was whispering it.
Definitely. I was sad that he gave the thing. He was like, "Here, give this back to your dude." And and I was like, "Oh, you don't need that." I mean, you don't need it.
But yeah, he gives give me my money.
Real quick too about Skeen and the money.
Yeah,
80 million divided by 4 is 20 million. You wouldn't be cool with 20 million, Skeen?
I think that maybe he was not. I think that he knows Cassian was in it for the money. Vel probably wouldn't go for it. So he's like, if he brings that up with Vel, she's probably gonna shoot him or try to.
But I'm saying, like, but the split though, right? Was it gonna be equally split, or do you think the split was less?
What do you mean?
Like, it was 80 million credits.
Yeah.
Do you think it was evenly split between the group, or do you think they only got a portion of it and the rest was gonna go to like Rebellion? Because I feel like the rest of it's probably going to Rebellion.
I think that most of it's all going to the Rebellion is the plan.
Okay.
I think that's the plan because they seem all gung ho for the Rebellion. And he thought Skeen was. I think that they were gonna take it for like funding to because like that was a focus before with Mon Mothma and Luthen is like, where are we gonna get this money? There's the problem solved.
Yeah, we're gonna get some B-wings now. We're gonna get
the whole alphabet. We're gonna have a couple of them.
We're gonna get Everybody's gonna have. We're gonna get new jackets. We're gonna
Yeah.
get some cool hats.
That's where we're gonna get some cool hats. We're gonna be matching. Leia's gonna get her hair done. Like
Yeah, yeah.
uh
We're gonna be fitted up for this rebellion for sure.
I don't know, are we gonna see, we have a lot that we're still looking forward to. This episode
Yeah.
is a nice cap off. Like, are we gonna see someone like maybe season 2, but Admiral Akbar, is he gonna be in here? I don't know.
I
Uh
don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
think so.
If season 2 comes out after Ahsoka, are we seeing anyone from the Rebels? Who knows? That's way
Oh,
looking in the
that's
future.
actually a good
But
point.
since they'll be introduced already, I don't think it'd be too big of a stretch to be like now, like maybe Hera cameos or something.
That's who I was thinking of. Hera seems the most rebellionish
Yeah,
to show in Andor as like her, her general status or whatever. Um, I think we're a little too far out from that because we still got a lot of more story. We still haven't gotten
we
Saw.
do.
I have a feeling we'll see Saw in this next arc.
I hope
Maybe
so.
even well, I hope so. Maybe in the fourth. I might be even talking out of my
I feel like I
mouth
want
here.
it in the next one, but I feel like expectations. I feel like it'd be in the last, whatever mini movie
Last
they
cameo,
have.
maybe.
Yeah, last go. We'll see
That'd
how
be
big
sick.
of a role they give him. How much he, I think Forrest Whitaker seems pretty down. So I think that, and it seems like a fun character to play. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I hope that he gets something pretty substantial. But I think they've proven from the show, even if it's not the longest runtime that he gets, they're making people have lasting impressions and making the most of the time they get. Mon Mothma hasn't had a ton of screen time, but she's made a big impression.
that's true.
Same with the Luthen. He really hasn't had, like, he's had some important scenes, but he's not
Yeah.
like a main focus for the most part of any of the episodes.
Right, right.
Um, and they're characters that, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, just thinking of the shots we still haven't seen. We haven't seen the what is it, clone troopers and Ferrix
Oh
again yet.
yeah, yeah,
We need that. We need Saw Gerrera and Luthen meeting up. I'm guessing Andor as well,
yeah.
meeting with Saw. The dinner scene that Mon
I
Mothma
hope.
had. I mean, she was in a yellow dress, right? So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
assuming
So we
that's
got to see that
dinner.
at some point.
And then there's like a scene Cassian in prison in a white jumpsuit, and there's like a jailbreak.
Maybe I could see that being the next.
I feel like that would be the next arc.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought of, I mean, not even outside of our review, was he could have got caught here in this heist and sent there, but that didn't
That
happen.
didn't happen, yeah. Maybe on his
So
exit, maybe it's like he's on his way out or trying to find somewhere to go. And I wouldn't even be surprised he gets caught up for something else, like he got,
yeah,
who knows?
man.
Um,
We still have Cyril Karn out here plotting.
Although, and there's probably already a canonical answer for it. I don't know it, but maybe it is the last arc, and maybe who knows where he meets K2. I don't know. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
right.
Could be in prison. Who knows? I could see that. He's a security droid.
Yeah. It could even be like as like their work, they have to put together droids or something for the Empire.
Yeah. Yeah. I
As
mean, never know.
you
Never know. But I see
Never
this.
know.
I see Cassian. He's developing, and dang, I just love it. Love it. This show would have to crash and burn for me to to put it. And I love the Mandalorian. You know this, everybody. I love the Mandalorian. I got my little Grogu right here. But it's up there for me already.
Yeah, the show's top tier, 100%. This heist definitely paid off
for sure, and it felt very cinematic.
It did. Oh man, it did. And I'm actually really excited to watch all 3 in succession as like one whole thing. I'm gonna do that probably before the next episode. But yeah, I'm curious where we're gonna go next and what they set up next. So even though we hit like the end of that arc, I'm still super excited to see what we're getting even after, because there's so much. There's 6 more episodes. We got
I know
a month and a half.
We're only half through, and there's so much that's happened. Where is Bix? When she's gonna come back in? We're gonna have, is Cassian himself gonna go back? Or is something else? Is Luthen gonna be there? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But we gotta see Saw. Bix is definitely coming back in some way, I'm sure. His mother, I forget her name, but I'm sure
Marva.
Marva. she's gonna appear again. I'm certain. You know, once we go back to that storyline, we still have, which we didn't hear from it at all this episode. But uh, you know, Cheerios guy.
So Cyril Karn,
Yeah,
yeah,
Cyril
yeah,
Karn. Cyril
yeah,
Karn.
he's still out there.
We don't know. We saw him. He's definitely Cassian motivated. We know that.
Yeah.
So
I'm one oh prediction. What if Uncle Harlow is Pradagast? And
ah, that'd be
uh,
interesting.
so him then maybe Cyril and Dedra work up this Andor
That'd be
Andor thing
interesting.
and rebellion thing. I don't know. That was just
I
a
could see
thing I
those
thought about.
threads. I could see those threads coming together. That's
Yeah.
some good insight there because I could definitely see them like somehow working in tandem.
But I do want Cyril Karn to be an infiltrator,
Of the
infiltrate the
rebellion.
rebellion. That's
That's
my
it.
and
Yeah,
keep
you're
Cyril
sticking
Karn.
to it, and I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's would be the most exciting for me.
And it'd be funny because it's like, you know, as much as Cassian says, you know, about the Empire never seeing someone come into the ranks, I do think that it's not that hard to get into the rebellion. You know, like
Mm.
you just have to.
Skeen did it. Skeen did it.
Yeah, Skeen did it. You just have to lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
I
have to
don't
lie
like
your
the
way in.
Empire. They fired me and my. He could even be almost honest. It's like they fired me and got rid of my whole, you know, my
Yeah,
whole career.
yeah.
I don't want to be any part of them. And just bam, you're in.
It writes itself, I think, and I mean that brings in Pradagast being his uncle, having him work with Dedra and him work on, hey, there's a rebellion starting, let's put you in
Yeah.
and undercover, infiltrate, and then maybe getting one over on Cassian and locking him up. So I can see that happening. I don't know if we can do that in 3 episodes and then have Cassian in prison, but
You never
that's
know. I mean,
you
they
never know.
squeeze a
Yeah,
lot of stuff in here. That's actually a
they
good
do.
roadmap. I could see that happening,
Yeah,
and I'd be happy to see that.
yeah.
I want to see Prison Cassian. I want to see that.
I don't know if I want to see prison Cassian. I like him doing rebellion stuff. I don't know if I want to see a whole
Maybe he
prison.
recruits some people within the. Maybe at some
Oh,
point he's
maybe.
like, you know, you help me here. I got some guys who you could, you
But he
know.
doesn't seem like the recruiter type for rebellion
He
yet.
doesn't. You're right. He
So it still
doesn't.
would have to be someone to like push him into like growing. So
He's gonna get. He's gonna go into prison, and Luthen's gonna show up also in prison. He's like, Cassian Andor, it's time to go again.
yeah, I mean the ball's gonna have to drop for both of them, right?
It is.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So and then we're more of Clea too. Like we've got little sprinklings of her, but I know she also had a kind of a bigger scene in the trailer, walking down the hall in like red maroon. So
And
I'm
then
just going off of what they show me, man. I'm still don't know. I actually am just guessing like the rest of us. Like I
yeah.
think that makes it more intriguing and seeing where it goes. But it's still just really good writing, just really good character motivation, and they really got me on the week to week thing. I'm excited to see what's next for this show.
Yeah, as much as I would love them to just keep releasing 3 episode blocks and let me watch it, man, I would love if they did they won't do it, but you know now watch them all in theaters. I'm there for the
Uh,
marathon. I did the 1 through 7 marathon. Awesome. I would
yeah.
totally do it for Andor.
They did the Rogue One re-release for
They
like
did,
IMAX for a bit.
and I
My friends
missed it, and
went
I'll
into the
never.
drive, yeah.
I missed it.
They might do it again at the end of this.
I hope so.
Or for season 2. I think it was a good idea,
I love marathons, movie marathons. I'm down with the episodes 1 through 7. That one was tough. I will admit, I worked a full shift, didn't sleep, went to it, but I decided to sleep during episode 2. So I was awake for the battle. I just fell asleep. They went to Naboo, knocked out, woke up, and it was great. 15 minutes between each movie, and it just went. So
I did my rewatch before Kenobi, like around Celebration. So I did Rogue One, Episode 1, Episode 2, and 3 in
yeah,
chunks though. I didn't
yeah.
marathon. I was like an hour here, an hour there,
Fit
an
in where
hour
you
here.
can.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up a couple of gems like you don't notice, and having all this new Star Wars content, you see them with a little bit different eyes. Especially, it came out when I was preteen or whatever. So
Yeah.
watching them again at my age, like it gives you new perspective on everything. I don't hate Anakin and Hayden Christensen's performance or whatever
Yeah.
writing as much as I did back then. I can appreciate it a little bit more, but I still don't think the prequels are better than the sequels.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's
no
so
way.
funny though because I am the opposite. Not I shout out Hayden Christensen. I love the
Shout out
man,
to Hayden.
but I grew up with the prequels when I was like, I mean, I was born in 95, so 99, you know, I was 4 years old, and like, dude, you couldn't tell me. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen, and I still love it. I still love it, but I
Yeah.
have over the time, like, you know, it started out as episode, you know, one was my favorite, and then two, and then three,
Right.
and
Right.
then as time went on, four became my favorite, and but it's flip flop for me, you know.
Right. Right.
Um, but still, you know, still love them, still love them.
Yeah,
Is
they
but
they definitely are like nostalgia, and they kind of, you know, are there that many movies that are so impactful on people's youths growing up, you
yeah,
know, throughout their lives? Star Wars is one of the mainstays for me.
yeah,
Um, and even Resurgence, like I the time between episode 3 and 7 was a long time.
it was, yeah, like 10
And
years.
yeah, there was, like, nothing, and I pretty much, like, Star Wars was not in my life at all.
Yeah,
But then, like, with, you know, I'll say I'm not the biggest fan of Mandalorian, of the
yeah.
show, but with resurgence of, like, that, Boba Fett, Galaxy's Edge, Visions, now Andor, my love of Star Wars is even stronger than it was back then,
I
so,
know,
um
yeah.
and doing the show with you and talking week to week. Like,
Great
I
stuff.
don't even know if we would be able to do this if it was like you said, you would love to have the just drop,
It's
right?
true.
Like Netflix just drop all the episodes. We wouldn't have an episode by episode talk. We would
Good.
have watched it. You would have
Oh,
binged it all.
one
You know?
video, we would have just
Yeah.
like talked about it for 2 hours,
And then that would be it.
push it all, and yeah, that'd be it. That'd
That'd
be
be
it.
it.
Which is great. You know, it does give you something to look forward to every week, and it's consistent. And I do love that because as much as I love to binge things, with Cassian, I would probably be rewatching it. I am a creature of habit as far as rewatching movies. Like I've probably
Okay.
seen The Force Awakens 1,000 times. I'm not even kidding.
Nice.
But like, um, yeah, I do find myself not rewatching even The Mandalorian. I've only rewatched it 3 times, which is not a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
But it gives you something. There's always something. We have the Bad Batch coming. We have
Right.
Ahsoka. We have Mandalorian season what four
3.
three season
3. Yeah.
three. And it's just this ongoing thing. And I think it's gotten to a point where yes, you're probably not gonna love everything. You may not even like everything.
Right.
But as long as we get things that we like enough,
Right.
if it's like miss, which for some people I'm sure it is. For me,
Yeah.
that's certainly not the case. Um, you know, then that's gonna be tough, and they may
Yeah.
lose you for a bit. Which
But there's still good stuff, even though like okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of The Mandalorian.
yeah,
However, there are still great things in the show that I can appreciate and
yeah,
things that they set up that I appreciate. I'm not saying just because I don't like it, you shouldn't like it. It's just wasn't the show that was
yeah,
for me or what I was expecting. Uh, but did I cry when I saw Luke Skywalker show up in the end of season 2?
yeah.
Yes, I did. I did. So there is good things, and always take more content
Heck
over no
yeah,
content at all.
heck yes. But you know, we put in a good hour here. I think that you know we cut. I would say that we went through. Yes, maybe it wasn't chronologically in order the way that we went about it, but I think that we you know put together a great show today.
Yeah, we hit
Um,
all the points. I think if we think of something, we'll definitely bring it back for next week.
but you know, I just want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you to everybody for watching our show and supporting. I don't know if you're ready to share it yet, but you know, Parade does have. I've been sharing a certain channel, and it was not necessarily the correct channel, but I will have the link in the description here. Also, if you're ever on my page, just scroll to the bottom. His channel is there. Definitely subscribe. He's got some stuff coming out, and we're working on more stuff on both of our channels
Yeah,
that will be in the future for sure. Um,
this it's gonna be a bloom, a new thing for me. I'm gonna it always has to take one video at a time, right? So I'm not gonna have like a ton of content yet, but if you want to drop a subscribe, check it out, ParadeReigner, just like it says at the bottom of this screen or in the description, and even on Instagram, I'm still there. Parade PARADEREIGNER. Yeah, even just we post the thumbs of these. Let us know you're enjoying the show. Drop in the comments what your favorite part of the episode is. I'm curious. I know we have a couple of people watching and dropping in already, but uh, it's about Star Wars fandom. You know, this is the Fan Awakens. That's not just me and Eli, it's all of us.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I want to know what you guys think of the show. I know what Eli thinks. We spend an hour a week talking
Yep.
about it and then some. I want to know what the rest of you guys think.
Yeah, like he said, let us know in the comments. What are you guys liking about the episode? Hit us up on our socials. You know, I'm certainly active. I'm really, really, really lagging, and I'm trying so hard to get on TikTok. I didn't do it. I'm gonna get on it, I swear.
Do it.
I have Saturday and Sunday off, so there's no excuse at all to not have something by the end of the weekend. Thank you, though. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Parade. Like I said, you can find me at the Fan Awakens. You can find me at Uncle Sheev. Those will be below. But like Parade said, what was your favorite part of the episode? You know, what was the part that had that you'll never forget? We have a lot coming on. But as always, may the force be with you all. We will see you next time. Goodbye. Peace.